In this video, I'm going to be talking about the bosses in the lower Spire, Lord Marrowgar. So for starters, the pre-swapping trinket is back. You have to do it at 30-second timer for Lord Marrowgar. You're going to be killing Spring right away on this boss, and then wait for the spikes. The spike cast can be vanished so you don't get spiked, so make sure that you do that, and pre-pop your AR and BF. Don't delay them because you're not going to be doing any damage to the spikes if you are late to the party there. Throughout the fight, just make sure that you're not taking too much damage, just don't die basically on this fight and you will have a decent parse. When the bone storm happens, which is after the second bone spike, basically all you want to do is follow the boss with evasion and keep hitting him. I was basically kinda trying to play safe here, but this is progression, so I didn't really want to push parsing for now. So I was a good boy swapping to spikes and stuff like that. You guys don't have to really do this as a rogue, preferably you kinda just want to stay on the boss, expose it and everything. And if you're not exposing, just damage it down. If your guild is really struggling with the spikes, just help them out anyways, fuck the parses for now. You're gonna have time to parse on this anyways. And currently the parses don't really matter because we're gonna have the buff soonish within this phase. So pretty much just survive, do the killing sprees correctly, make sure that you're always doing them on the trinket timers. Try not to cheese too much AoE damage with fan of knives, don't really grief your single target DPS there. And the only way you can really do a good damage on this boss is to fish for good spikes and cleave them with Blade Flurry twice on this fight. If your Gale is killing this way too fast, you're not gonna be getting a second AR anyways, so just don't count on that. And do it at the best time you can have. This VOD here is a bit scuffed because I was just full on supporting and helping the raid out, just to make sure that we kill it here, but you can try to cheese this a little bit more because the Bone Storm doesn't do that much damage, but whenever you get impaled on top of it, you can easily die on this boss, so don't risk it at all. But as you can see, on this next bone spike, I actually get a really juicer cleave. Wasn't the best, but it was okay. And I kind of forgot to killing spree ever, so I missed out on another killing spree during this fight. Only you got to use it twice. But that's pretty much it for Marrowgar. There isn't nothing much to explain really. Most of you guys most likely will get a second AR, so you could probably utilize it with your BF instead. So after this we have Lady Deathwisper. You need to trinket swap at 30 seconds left of the pull timer here. Really important for the AoE cleave because that's where all of your damage comes from. I'm gonna skip a few seconds here. So on the pull timer you can go literally all the way up to the boss and hug her and then haste spot. So you have the fastest starting point there. Now during this fight my warrior forgot completely to actually, sunder, and I wasn't prepared for exposing this boss, so I basically exposed without glyphs, which is kind of sad because I could have actually gotten a rank 1 parse on this boss, which would have helped my page, but that doesn't really matter. So just hard cleave the Zeds, make sure that they get the biggest cleave on them, and if your Blade Flurry is still left, like by 5 seconds or something, make sure you hit an ad. And never delay it. You don't want to delay your BF and AR because the moment you delay them, mind control is gonna happen, and if it happens on you, then your boss is gonna use it for you. And basically your parse is gone. But pretty much first phase for anyone who's doing heroic should be only 2 sets of ads. Unless your raid is really struggling, which I think you should not even be doing heroic at that point. You might get 3 sets of ads, which means you have to BF again. But let's say you are doing 2 sets of ads only and the boss is being pushed after. Make sure that trinket procs do happen on the timer here. For me this was a really bad timing. My trinket procs basically happened right before the boss being phased, so I didn't have anything. I pretty much just trick the tank, killing spree the boss, just so I can do a burst threat on him. I did around 100k threat there, but wasn't the worst, but I can do better. As long as the trinks are utilized, and you do them at the same time as a trick, you do a lot more. But throughout this whole fight, just don't die to ghosts, feint a lot. I didn't do it here because I was just limit testing to see if I can actually die. And I can, like, it takes me only 2 explosions to die easily. But there we go, I'm using expose on this boss, which is really sad. I basically just played it really bad as well. But in general, just try to fish for a decent BF during this fight. I should have used my BF on this pack right here, but I completely forgot about it and basically kept it until the end of the fight, which I believe I could have done another BF if I just used it here. It doesn't really matter though. It's padding damage, although the ads should actually die, but just try to maintain your HP and not die. And do not blow up the ghosts in melee. But as I said, the MC usually happens when your cooldowns come off cooldown if you use it the way I do. So always try to use them before the fight, using it for you. Because we've had AR and BF and many more spells being used during MC. As you can see here, whenever the MC hits 15 seconds timer, I'm just gonna instantly BF because I know that if I get it, I'm just gonna get fucked and maybe kill some people. It's really easy to kill people as an MC. I don't have a Vikara for weapon swapping yet, but I don't think if that's necessary if your players are fast enough with cycloning. And there you go. My MC used AR and most likely berserking, which is a lot of DPS loss right there. So all of this is also a random counter that you have to take into this boss that basically makes you lose a lot of DPS. This fight in general is just a fuckfest. If you can actually parse on it, then you're lucky. You just have to pray that you never get MC'd or targeted by many spells and abilities by the other MCs, because those players who get MC'd can easily one-shot you if you don't deal with them fast enough. But this is the whole fight, nothing much to say. Just don't die on it and you will have a decent parse anyways. For the gunship, the only job you have to do as a rogue is jump over before the mage or the sorcerer blocking the gunships, or the cannons that is, and slow down the process. Bronzebird is gonna aggro to you, so you have to be careful with that one. You can jump later and just not risk this. I basically did it for the first time, so I didn't know. So that distract basically buys another 10-15 seconds for the raid to DPS down the Skybreaker, and it speeds up the fight massively. For Deathbringer, you're gonna have to trinket swap at 40 seconds left of the active timer. Hopefully you're not a wounds bitch in your guild and the guild doesn't make you go wounds. It's really sad to lose out on a lot of DPS, but it is something that helps up the fight. Because the boss does a debuff on the main tank, and even for the fraction of the second that the boss is hitting that tank, it's a lot of healing done. Although hunters should really easily just keep up the aim shot. We just had that really bad here, so we wanted to just kill it and get it over with. So basically, wait for trinket procs, because you delayed it for 5 seconds. Your guild is most likely lasting here, so just killing spree right away and keep BF and AR. Your paladins, especially the holy ones, should be hodging an ad here. So the hodged ad should be focused by you and you're gonna full cleave on it while you hit the boss as well from your behind. Hopefully if you're lucky enough and no one is focusing your ad, you should be getting off one eviscerate before you swap back to the boss. And you could potentially hit more ads while you're cleaving. This is basically it for Saurfang. There's nothing much to really say. He is basically just a patchwork with rage mechanics. do not try to like cheese the beasts. Remember that no AoE works on them, it's 95 minus. As long as you can trick every time on the beasts to your warlock, you're basically doing a lot of help. And do not Clink Spray like I just did here. Always Clink Spray when you know it's fully on the boss and not on the ads. Which most likely is gonna happen if you do it correctly on pull. Every time you do it on pull, you most likely will do it before the ads even spawning after that, for every time. If there is ever a mark on you, there's nothing really much to do about it, just have to pray that you get healed. But most skills might actually DI the mark, so if that happens to you, you're basically out of the fight and it's over for you. But as I said, every time trick the player who is supposed to be tricked for the corruptions on the beast's spawn, it helps a lot. I believe Sappering and Saronite Bombing is also reduced damage, so just do it on the boss. And if you wanna really min-max it, then you can also do it on the ads, but it's basically 0 DPS calls. But here coming up on the second BF, I basically will swap again to the beast. I KS'd before the beast spawning, and now I'm just swapping to the beast to cleave it off the boss. The knockbacks are a bit tricky. If they ever happen to the ad, just instantly swap to the boss and do not waste any DPS if you can. I somehow pulled a decent 9.7k DPS on this with wound poison. I was surprised that I actually even beat anyone in the fight, because wound poison just destroys your DPS. You basically don't exist during this fight. And yeah, that's basically it during Deathbringers. Nothing much that you can do aside just cheesing the cleave on the beast twice during that fight. You most likely won't have a second AR. If you really want to have a second AR, just use it on pull. I did it on the beast for now to see how it feels, but I'm most likely gonna swap back to ARing on pull. And yeah, this is Low Spire. Go ahead and try it out, just let me know how it went for you guys, and I will be uploading the next guides with the Plague Wing, Blood Wing and Frost Wing within the next few days, so stay tuned for those. See you for now.